Hello there. My name is Dennis Vogan, if you and I haven't met yet, and it's really good to see you today. I'm shooting this video towards the end of my Kickstarter called Sleeping Kitty Stretches, and we're trying to raise money to publish 2 graphic novels, Brushfire Wave 2 and Jojo's Time Machine, and we also want to start an animation company and possibly produce some audiobooks as well. The purpose of this video is to talk about Brushfire and talk about Jojo, and to explain why I'm wearing this adorable hat on my head. So Brushfire was an idea that came to me in the summer of 2018 when I was working on The Flying Squirrel, which is the first issue of my Weirdos graphic novel series. People have been asking me for a long time to write something for all ages, because most of my work is, it's not aimed for adults, but it's appropriate for adults. Brushfire, the idea, it started in a boring place. Let me explain. I started having conversations with my friends about what makes a good government. And then the idea got bigger than that, beyond government, and what makes a good community. And I started to work out these ideas using these little animals, mostly squirrels. These squirrels in particular, and mouse and butterfly and canary, they are a part of a team called Flare, and they are the team that goes out and actually helps people. And so they go on rescue missions, they go on adventure missions. They have all the fun in Brushfire. So like I said, we're raising money to release Brushfire Wave 2. This is Brushfire Wave 1. This is the first part of a 3-part trilogy, and they've been coming out on the 4th of July every single year since last year, so 2022. And so Wave 2 will be coming out in 2023, and then Wave 3 will be coming out in 2024. You can think that far into the future. As you can see from the art, this series comes from my love of Disney animation and growing up in the 90s. Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers is a very apparent influence, but there's a lot of other influences too, even from the world of animation. I grew up with Nicktoons, and you find a lot of different influences here, even stuff like manga that I kind of, or anime that I grew up seeing. A lot of those things found their way into this book. There's a lot of themes here too that I feel are universal. They're not just for kids, they're for adults too. It's about art and music and science, and I think those are all important things that everyone should participate in. Jojo, on the other hand, was a character who I invented when I was in high school, so not that long ago. It was a very long time ago. The thing about Jojo is he works in a coffee shop, he owns a coffee shop, but he's also an inventor. And his inventions are metaphors for creating art. And so there's this mechanical idea of inventing, and then there's this creative expression. And he became a vehicle for me to kind of explore those two ideas. Writers often put themselves into their work, and whether that's with the ideas, obviously, or with some of the characters. And some of my books don't have any characters that resemble me at all, and so there's no characters in the books where I can point to them and say, oh yeah, that's definitely someone like me. But the books that have characters that are most like me are my graphic novels, and that explains the hat. In the Weirdos, there's a character called the Flying Squirrel, who I mentioned earlier, and he is very much like me. He is definitely his own character, but he's an alcoholic, he's a comic book writer, he also loves squirrels. And so those 3 things are big parts of who I am. And he wears an outfit, and he's got a hoodie, and it's got squirrel ears on it. And our friend Natalie actually made me this hat based on my flying squirrel design, which I adore. So I wanted to wear it for this video. And talking about characters that are like us, both Bae from Brushfire and Jojo are like me as well. And so they're like me, and they're also the opposites of me, and I'll explain why. So that's Bae, and then that is Jojo. So Jojo's the bunny, Bae is the squirrel. Bae is kind of who I am right now. He is chaotic, but he means well, and he wants to help. He's also made a lot of mistakes in his life, and he kind of finds himself in self-pity often, and I try to break free of that, but it's part of who I am too. And so Bay and I were just trying our best, and you know, I love that about him. I saw a meme recently that said a squirrel always seems like it's experiencing its first day as a squirrel, and that resonates with me deeply. It resonates with Bay too. And so that's how we're alike. Jojo is who I wish I could be. Jojo is very adaptable. Things happen and he just easily pivots to meet those challenges. And that's not something that I can do easily. It's not something that comes natural to me, but it comes natural to Jojo. So I kind of envy that. He is just always just doing the right thing, and he doesn't really have to think about it. It's just who he is. And so Jojo's more of an ideal for me. And that doesn't mean to say that Jojo can't be sarcastic and really funny. I also want to be both of those things. But the reason I am envious of him as a character is because of how easily he can navigate how challenging life can be. And that hasn't, you know, always been the case for me. And all this just goes back to why we create art. And kind of what I was talking about when I started the Kickstarter is self-expression is important for everybody. And we all do it in different ways. And this is the way that I do it. And it's really cool because I see it inspire others. Not that I'm inspiring, but the idea that I go out there and I do things, it inspires other people to go out and do things. And that's kind of the basis of all of this. And it's the basis for both of these graphic novel worlds too. The idea that you can't just sit back and pray for something to happen. You have to go and you have to do it. Both of these worlds really embrace that idea, and so does this Kickstarter. We're, you know, trying to go out there and do something different for us, you know, which is really cool. And us is me and my buddy Steve is helping me out with these projects. So this is kind of my last video and last chance to ask you, you know, if you want to invest in this, there's things in it for you. You can get copies of either the graphic novels. There's collector sets where we do fun things like pins, and we did pogs and trading cards, and you know, just investing in this thing, it means a lot to me. So I've kind of babbled on for a while here, and we'll see if I can edit this up, but maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just give you all of this unedited for the most part, and I hope you enjoyed it. Again, so the Kickstarter is called Sleeping Kitty Stretches. We've already reached our base goal, so the 2 graphic novels will be released, and so if you invest now, you will definitely get 2 books out of the deal, and hopefully they're things that you enjoy or can share with others. And that's all I got. All my love.